Hey guys, it's me, Elizabeth. I am back with another video. Today I am going to be doing a 50 books that I read this year. Basically, I read 50 books this year, and I'm going to be telling you what books those are. Basically, to make this video short and to make my sanity levels high, I don't want to go insane, essentially. I am just going to be going through the books that I read this year and telling you what books they are, who the author is, and what my rating is, if I had a rating on it. And I am not going to be going into super detail about these books. If you want to know more about these books, you can look them up on the internet, because I'm not going to try and describe 50 books for you. I just can't do that. I already am really bad at describing one book, so I'm not going to do it with 50. So let's get into this. The first book that I read this year was Band of Brothers, E Company, 506th Regiment, 101st Airborne, From Normandy to Hitler's Eagle Nest by Stephen E. Ambrose. This book, 5 stars, and I listened to it on audio. Next book I listened to on audio drama. This was a reread, and that is The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby by Charles Dickens. Again, 5 stars. The next book I also listened to on audiobook, and that is Blackout: How Black America Can Make It a Second Escape from the Democrat Plantation by Candace Owens. This one got a 4.5 stars. The next book I read was The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the Stormlight Archive book number 1. This one also got a 5 stars, but this one I half read and half listened to on audio. The next book I listened to the audio drama edition of, and that is David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, 4 stars. The next audiobook I listened to was This Victorian Life: Modern Adventures in 19th Century Culture, Cooking, Fashion, and Technology by Sarah A. Chrisman, and this one is another 4 stars. The next one that I half read and half listened to was Sky Beyond the Storm, Ember in the Ashes number 4 by Sabah Tahir. This one was very disappointing and got a 2.5 stars. The next book I read physically is Don't Give Up, Don't Give In, Lessons from an Extraordinary Life by Louise Zamperini and David Renson. This one I gave a 3.5 stars. The next book I listened to on audiobook was Beyond Band of Brothers, The War Memoirs of Major Dick Winters by Cole C. Kingseed and Dick Winters, and this one got a 5 stars. The next book I read was On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, Wing Feather Saga number 1 by Andrew Peterson, and we have another 5 stars. The next one I listened to again on audiobook was Conversations with Major Dick Winters, Life Lessons from the Commander of the Band of Brothers by Cole C. Kingseed, and another 5-star book. The next one I again listened to on audiobook was Library of Souls, Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children number 3 by Ransom Rakes, and this one got a 3.5 stars. The next one I read physically was The Ichabod by J.K. Rowling, and this one got a 4.5 stars. The next one I listened to on audiobook was North or Be Eaten, Wing Feather Saga number 2, and this one is by Andrew Peterson, and this one got 5 stars. Keeping in the same vein, the next one I listened to was Monster in the Hollows, which is Wing Feather Saga number 3 by Andrew Peterson, and this one also got a 5 stars. The book I read on audiobook was Ninth House, Alex Stern number 1 by Lee Bardugo, and this one got a 2.5 stars as well. Wasn't a fan. The next one I also listened to on audiobook was Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, and this one got a 4 stars. And the next one that I listened to on audiobook is Warden and the Wolf King, Wing Feather Saga number 4 by Andrew Peterson, and this one also got a 5 stars. The next one that I listened to on audiobook is The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. This one I gave a 4.5 stars. And the next one I also listened to on audiobook, it was also a reread, was The Bad Beginning, A Series of Unfortunate Events number 1 by Lemony Snicket, and this one got a 4 stars. The next one that I also listened to on audiobook was The Great Hunt, Wheel of Time number 2 by Robert Jordan, and this one got a 4.5 stars. Next book that I read physically was Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens, and this one also has another 5 stars. The next one that I listened to on audiobook was The Problem of Pain by C.S. Lewis. This one does not have a rating because I need to reread it because I did not take in half the book when I was listening to it, and it's the shortest thing ever. So I need to reread this one because I had a hard time paying attention to this for some reason, but I think if I read it physically, it might be better if I did that. So I didn't give it a rating because I can't properly rate this one. The next book I also listened to on audiobook was The Paradise Snare, Star Wars Legends, The Han Solo Trilogy by A.C. Crispin, and I gave this one a 3 stars. The next book is another reread. I read Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery, and this one is a 5 stars. Also read this one physically. The next one I listened to on audiobook is Mistborn, The Final Empire, Mistborn number 1 by Brandon Sanderson, and this one gets a 4 stars. The next one is another reread. I listened to this one on audiobook as well, and that is Redwall number 1 by Brian Jacks, and this one got a 5 stars. The next one that I read physically is Mystery of the Moss-Covered Mansion, Nancy Drew Mystery Stories number 18 by Carolyn Keene, and this one got a 3.25 stars. The next book that I listened to on audio is Martin the Warrior, Redwall number 6, and this one got a 4 stars. The next one that I also listened to on audiobook was Live Not by Lies, A Manual for Christian Dissidents by Rod Dreher, and this one got a 4 stars. The next one that I read physically was Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Patterson, and this one got a 4 stars. The next one that I also read physically was Kids Off the Block, the inspiring true story of one woman's quest to protect Chicago's most vulnerable youth by Diane Latiker. This one was also a 4 stars. And the next book that I listened to on audiobook was A Map of Days, Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children number 4 by Ransom Riggs, and this one got a 3.5 stars. And the next one I listened to on audio drama, and that is Emma by Jane Austen, and this one got 4 stars. This next book I re-listened to on audio. I have listened to the audiobook for this book like 3 or 4 times, probably. I don't really know how many times I've listened to the audiobook, and I've actually read the book physically like 9 times. And that is Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. Obviously, it's my favorite book ever, so you know what the rating is. This next book I read physically or listened to the audiobook. I kind of have to both of those again with this one, and that is Queen of Shadows, Throne of Glass number 4 by Sarah J. Maas, and this one got a 4 stars. The next one I also listened to on audiobook. It is Maddie Mayo, Redwall number 3 by Brian Jacks, and this one gets 5 stars. This next one that I also read physically is Rule of Wolves, King of Scars number 2 by Leigh Bardugo. This one got a 3.75 stars. This next one I listened to on audiobook is Cheaper by the Dozen by Ernestine Gilbreth Carey and Frank B. Gilbreth Jr. This is another reread. I've listened to the audiobook for this one so many times I can't even tell you what the number is. This one is a 5 stars as well. The next one that I also listened to on audio drama is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, and I don't have a rating on here, but I would give this one like 4 stars or 3.5 stars. It's 4 stars. The next one I listened to on audiobook is The Dragon's Tooth, Ashtown Burials number 1 by N.D. Wilson. This one got a 3.25 stars. The next book that I also listened to on audio drama is Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and this one gets a 5 stars. The next one that I read physically, it's another reread, is The Fellowship of the Ring from The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, and obviously it's a 5 stars. The next book that I read physically is Anne of Avonlea by Ella Montgomery, second book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and it's another 5 stars. This next book I read physically and also read mostly by audiobook, and that is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, and this is a 4 stars and also a super unexpected book that I really enjoyed. The next book is Deja Dead, Tempest Brandon number 1 by Kathy Reichs. This is the book that the TV show Bones was inspired by, and I would give this one a 4 stars. The next book that I listened to on audiobook is another kind of surprising book that I enjoyed. It's Geist, Archivist Geist #1 by Neil Shusterman. This one gets a 4 stars. The next book that I also listened to on audiobook is The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this one gets a 4.5 stars. The last book that I have finished this year is Mossflower, Redwall #2 by Brian Jakes, and this one is a 4.75 stars. So I just went through all of these books. Out of 50 books, 12 of them I have read physically, and 38 I have read on audiobook. So that's actually way better than I expected it to be. I kind of expected to be hardly any books that I've read physically, just because I feel like I've been mostly listening to audiobooks. But those are the 50 books that I have finished in 2021. I'm in the middle of reading a book right now. I don't think it'll be finished before 2021 is over, but we'll see. There's only a few days left in this year, so we'll see what happens with that. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to support my channel, you can like this video and comment down below what books you read this year, and also feel free to subscribe. And if you're into history, historical, fashion, or sewing, you can check out my other channel, also linked below, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you have your own fun reading adventures. Bye.